Today we're going to talk about preparing for a mortgage application. So, what Sean's going to do is talk to y'all about how to prepare for a mortgage application. We'll go over what documents you need, all of that good stuff. In the meantime, I will transfer you over to Sean.
Thank you, T, for the wonderful intro. All right. So, yeah, preparing for a mortgage application, right? Now, one thing is that you don't know what really going to ask you. That's one of the scary parts. Every time I take an application out there, everybody says, oh, I should have been more prepared for this. Not really. But here's what you want to do. Okay. The first thing you want to do is remember the last 2 years of your life, right? Because that's what we mainly look at is the last 2 years or 24 months of your life, right? So the first thing that folks get hung up on, not everyone, but some, okay, is where have I worked for the past 2 years? In this day and age, a lot of us change jobs, right? We may get promotions, demotions, side motions, whatever that's called, right? And we may have multiple employers for the past 24 months. Now I need to know start and end dates. It's got to match up. I gotta have gap dates. Like if you took a sabbatical for 2 or 3 months to get your mind right, right? I didn't know what those dates are that you started in these jobs. All right. Now, also, once we get those dates and we get where we worked at and how much money we made over there, we want to get the proper documentation for those jobs. Okay. And once again, I'm speaking on if someone is a W-2 wage earner, not if they're self-employed any time in the past 2 years. So this is for strictly our W-2 wage earners. Okay. So let's say you have had multiple jobs in the past 2 years. When using any kind of conventional FHA, VA, USDA financing, right? So what I'm going to need is every W-2 you've received in those past 2 years, not tax returns, just W-2s. Now, if you don't have them, lost them, misplaced them, or whatever, you usually call that job or that employer and say, hey, and you're going to call their HR payroll team. Okay. You're going to say, hey, I lost my W-2s. Can you please shoot me a copy? And they'll probably email you something or mail it to you. But I will need every W-2 that you've received in the past 2 years. Okay. Then I'll need to see some pay stubs, most recent pay stubs, right? Quick tip, can't take cell phone screenshots. Can't do it. But please don't log into your ADP app and start screenshotting crap because I can't take it. I'll send it right on back to you. All right. Now, also is our history of where we lived at in the past 2 years. I got to have a 2-year residential history. Okay. I need to know your start and end date of when you lived there. If you paid rent, how much rent did you owe? Right. Basically 2 years of where you lived, where you worked. So the best thing I can tell you when you're getting ready to apply for a mortgage, when it comes to the actual application part, you want to get your employment history together, figure out where you worked, when you worked there, and your residential history, where you lived, how long you lived there, what you pay per month while you lived there. Okay. Now, after you figure those parts out, you do want to take a look at your credit report. Now, remember, when you do call me, I will complete a soft pull for you. I do that as a courtesy, right? However, a lot of the times people I talk to, I catch them off guard. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was on there. I didn't see that, so forth and so on. Happens every single day, sometimes 3 times a day. That's okay, right? That's all right. Listen, if you don't want to be caught off guard or you don't want to feel surprised or shocked, right, you can go to the 3 major credit bureaus' direct website, pull your credit report. I think you get 1 free per year still, right, T? Something like that?
Yeah, it's always definitely that. Let me add myself so I can see. Yes, it is still that once a year.
Okay, perfect. And you can go on there and it should show you everything that I should see on my side. So if I start calling out things that may not sound familiar to you, because on the credit reports, they use sometimes phrases or they may use uh, company names that you may not be familiar with. And usually I can link it and tell you like, oh, this is probably a car payment. This is a credit card. There's different codes that you may not be able to see on there. That doesn't make sense, right? At any rate, getting your own credit report will kind of get you a better grasp of what you got going on when it comes to your credit. Okay. And when I do call it out to you, it's not a shock or a surprise. Nice and easy. Okay. But once again, the biggest thing that I see for applicants is information and data, right? Where was I at in the past? What was I doing for the past 2 years? Where was I at? Where did I work? How much money did I make while I was there? Right? These are the unknowns a lot of us in our day-to-day living don't even think about. So if you want to be completely prepped and give me, your loan officer, all the pertinent data that I need to make a good decision as to what to do with you, it's good that you have things prepped and ready for me to go. Okay. Now, once again, not saying it has to be 110% accurate, but I need a kind of a good guideline to follow as to where you may be at in your financial future. Okay. And then also, once again, when I start digging into the credit report and I'm looking at collections and charge offs and balances of credit cards, loans, whatever the case may be, I'm going to go through each trade line with you that's open and active or showing a balance. And it could be something you already paid off, right? But I don't know this because the credit report could be wrong, right? And I don't want to hit you with some debt that you already took care of. So it's kind of good to know your financial picture as to what you have going on, what you've already done in the past, or what you maybe have in motion right now. Give me all the info I need so I can really, really help and not try to hide anything from either because I'm going to find it. That's one thing. People try to hide stuff from me, like I'm not going to see it. I don't know why they do that. Just tell me, be upfront and tell me what's really good. And what folks don't realize is that between me and you and the underwriter, I'm the barrier, right? I filter what they see and what they don't see. So it's going to help you to keep it a whole being with me and tell me what's really going on. Otherwise, if I don't filter it and the underwriter sees it, they can just kill it right then and there, right? But if I knew about it up front, I could probably move and shake around it to make something happen. So to properly prepare yourself for the lending process and the application process, I need to know everything that's out there. Everything that you can possibly think of that may or may not come up. It may not be a big deal to you, but it might be a big deal to me and vice versa. Right. So yes, I would say Tamiya, the biggest thing that we can see out there, or the biggest thing that we can think of is just information, all the pertinent data, job gaps where we work, things like that. So I can put together a perfectly crystal clear picture for the underwriter. Because if I don't, they're going to put their own picture together. It may not be the sweetest picture ever.
Excellent, excellent. So, just being realistic here. So, what happens if someone comes to you and they swear up and down they're ready and they think they have everything, and there's some missing items, right? And there's nothing they can do. It is what it is. I mean, do you accept substitutes for any of the items that you stated? Can you are there any items that you can just say, okay, I we can still push this without X, Y, and Z, or is it no? It's just like
Yeah, there's items I can still work with. I would just have to leave fully detailed notes from my underwriter and say, hey, listen, I'm lacking X, Y, Z, but in lieu of, okay, I've got this for now. I am getting X, Y, and Z from the borrower or from the buyer, right? So yeah, there's some things that that I may not need immediately up front, but sometimes the biggest things that I need to make a determination would be income documents, recent pay stubs, and recent W-2s. Now, if you don't have the W-2, sometimes I can also get away with the very last pay stub that was cut in the prior year, right? So if I'm missing 2023 W-2, and they say, hey, I can't, it's not my ADP or my payroll system or my paycheck system. I don't have it, right? You can also find me the very last pay stub that you received in that year, because in most cases it will show the same data that a W-2 would show.
Mhm.
Right now, they're still
Okay.
going to want the W-2s, but this will kind of get me through until I get to that point in the transaction. Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are some things that I can kind of go around for the time being and get things in place up, but I still need what I need. Right.
And I have another question. What if someone is gonna pay so much down, right?
Hmm.
Like a huge I don't know if this is the thing or not, but what if they're gonna put so much down on it? Can you overlook some things if they're gonna if you know they're putting a huge chunk of change? Like the reason why I say that is my neighbor, she moved. She recently moved, but she hasn't been here that long, and she sold her first house, and she put basically almost everything she got to the new house, dropping her mortgage drastically. So if you know that the client is going to put a huge dollar amount towards the house, do you even need half of the stuff that you're asking for?
Hmm. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending upon what kind of loan that I'm doing. So, for
Mm,
example, let's say your people's they're putting down this big chunk of money. You'll say they're putting down 80%, right, or
mm,
90% of the purchase price in cash or
mm.
transferable assets from the other property, right? Um, and for the 10%, they still qualifying. I still need income to qualify for that 10% I'm going to give them, right? I still
Mhm.
got to see W-2s, pay stubs, whatever the income docs are to confirm and verify income, even though they may have a 2% debt to income ratio, right? I still got to verify the data. Now, there are some things that are overlooked, right, when it comes to that. Uh, and that's mainly referring to sometimes credit based items, right? But if there's any mortgage that's going to be had, even if I have a 1% debt to income ratio or a 55% debt to income ratio, the income docs are going to stay constant that I need.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I hope y'all out there, I hope you heard him. Make sure you have your paperwork together, please. Like it saves time. Okay, it saves everybody time. Just make sure Sean told you step by step what's needed. Just make sure you have it. If you have any questions, just contact him directly. You do not need to contact me. I am just hosting here. Okay, I'm not the lender. I have to say that, Sean, because some people they signed up with me, they see the videos and they're still asking me mortgage, but I don't know. Like I don't know. But I'ma just say, what did Sean say? Oh, you didn't call him yet? You should call him.
Right?
That's how that's
Take it
gonna
easy.
go.
There you go.
All right.
There
Well,
you
in
go.
the meantime, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe. Schedule your consultation with Sean. Reach out to him, especially after you get your paperwork together. You got your paperwork together, you feel confident. Some of y'all feel confident that your credit score is together. A lot of you guys are. So just go ahead, reach out to Sean directly and he will help you out. But in the meantime, we are out. I wish you guys all the best of luck on your credit journey. I'll talk to y'all later.
Take care, guys.